Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is that you are listening. Folks, thank you very, very much for listening. Today is the 29th of August, year of our Lord 2025. Welcome to yet another edition of the Coping Hour, hosted by Nicholas Hinkle, a.k.a. Moton Noah. Got a big show for you guys today. We got some football to talk about up at the top here. I'm just realizing this as I'm saying the date out loud. College football is back, like for real back. Last weekend we had week 0. We covered very briefly the fight between Avery Johnson's father and brother, quarterback of Kansas State. They were playing Iowa State over in Dublin to kick off the season. Talked about that very briefly. I don't think I did a good job of doing the hilarity of it justice. It was very, very funny that happened. And then I just kind of moved on to something else. No, wow, it's week 1. It's like for real week 1. Whoa. Okay, Michigan State, I imagine they play on the 29th. They probably play. They usually start on Fridays. Without even looking at it. I'm not going to look it up. Michigan State probably plays today. And I haven't even been thinking about it. I'm going to see Aiden Childs play quarterback. Okay, cool. Whoa. In like 24 hours from as I'm taping this, I'll be watching him play. Whoa. That's sick. Nick Marsh. Yeah. Okay. I'm on board with it. A lot of buzz coming out of East Lansing. People saying a lot of nice things about Jonathan Smith and his team this year. So we'll see with Michigan State. Really rooting for Aiden Childs this year. Last year, just didn't protect the ball at all. Would make a lot of plays that he just smoked the highlight. Like he did everything, not right. Wasn't always right, but cool. He did things cool. And then would fumble the ball. Or he would throw an interception, or he would sail it 15 yards over. You know what I mean? Name a thing, throw a dart at a board. For one reason or another, Aiden Childs smoked highlights last year, but he was always like right there. So I think this year, it was his first year as a starting quarterback. Was he a redshirt freshman last year? Or was he a redshirt sophomore last year? I don't know. He was, pretty green regardless. No pun intended. And I just think this year, it's a big prove-it year for Aiden Childs, and I believe in him, and I think he'll be special. But what's crazy, I got to tell you what's crazy, on the opposite side of things, I'm feeling the fire again. I'm feeling the Michigan State fire again. I really am, in a way that is not manufactured. In a way that I haven't felt since, when was the Kenneth Walker 5-touchdown game? 2021, I think? When I was like, fuck these guys, man. I hate these guys. Hate these guys. Because when either school stinks, it's just not as fun. Like the COVID year, I guess, was fun because Michigan State stunk. Michigan was supposed to be good, and we beat them in Ann Arbor during a COVID year. That was really fun. Ricky White, was that the receiver? And then he was kicked off the team inexplicably. Did he do something weird with girls? Was that what it was? I don't remember what it was, honestly. I think it was Ricky White. I hope that's who it was. Otherwise, I'm just saying that a guy who didn't do something weird to girls did something. But I think that's what happened. Mel Tucker kicked him off the team, but then we found out, it boomeranged. Mel Tucker himself was doing something. What was Mel Tucker doing? Wasn't he like doing Louis C.K. style, like but on the phone? I think that's what it was. Was he talking to? Because he was married. Was he talking to a married woman? Like Ime Udoka style. He was like if Louis C.K. was Ime Udoka. He was masturbating on the phone, talking to another girl. I don't remember what it was, but it was something like that. He was doing something crazy. I think it was on the phone. I think that's what it was. And then he ended up not being the coach anymore. And the Mel Tucker era, very, very just, it quickly went away. The school acted like it never happened, which is in some ways too bad because as a guy, seems like maybe a little wild. But as a coach, there were like 2 really weird years, and be blunt about it, bad years, like sandwiched in between a really good year, but that really just came down to Kenneth Walker. That's really all that it was. It's really all that it was. I think we also, in real time, while we were living through it, thought that Peyton Thorne had more to do with it than he did. And then we all collectively realized, nope, time passed, And we all collectively realized, nope, that was just Kenneth Walker. It was just him. It was just him. Was Jaden Reed on that team? Was Jalen Naylor on that team? The receiving core, I feel like both of them had to be on the team. There were guys on those teams for sure, but it was Kenneth Walker. It was literally just K9, and that was it. That was really it. Peyton Thorne stinks. Oh man, did he stink? I was tricked for a year into thinking that he was in some ways like Connor Cook. Auburn fans, by the way, I don't know the full extent of how he was in like the 1 year, 1 or maybe 2 years. I think it was just the 1 year that he was playing with Auburn. I don't know all the nuances of it other than he started and then was benched and then played again at some point. And I do remember one Auburn fan specifically emailing me around right now last year, right before the season started, being like, "Hey, I think you've been too harsh on Peyton Thorne." Hearing a lot of nice things out of Auburn camp about Peyton Thorne. I just think maybe you'll be wrong about this. Okay. I thought about that guy Peyton Thorne got benched in like week 3. You know what I mean? I thought about that guy the whole year, but I never went back and I never said anything. But I was thinking about him the whole year. Peyton Thorne was not good. And shame on me for thinking that he was like Connor Cook 2.0 in the sense that guy's like guaranteed 250 yards in the air every week. And then what he gives you on the ground is unknowable. But it will be something of consequence. It will be something, even if he ends the game with 16 yards on the ground as a quarterback, but it was 16 yards that one of them was on a 4th and 2 and he went for 6. You know what I mean? And then later in the game, it's 2nd and 15 and he goes for 9. And now it's 3rd and manageable. You know what I mean? Like it's in the perfect time that they use their legs, because Connor Cook was so good at that. He was so damn good at that for Michigan State. And I thought, you know what? And it's not so much that I thought and I was wrong. For a year, Peyton Thorne was good at that. The same way, honestly, sneaky Brian Lewerke for Michigan State also kind of had that for like 1 year. They won, like 10 or 11 games that year? I don't remember if the bowl game against Washington State gave them 10 wins or if it gave them 11 wins. I think we went into that game 9-3 against Washington State. Came out of it 10-3, I think sounds right. So it's something like that, right? You win regardless, double-digit wins. Brian Lewerke's your quarterback. What the fuck is this? That had to have been the same year that they went into Ann Arbor, and it was there's the gif. Is it Justin Lane doing the choke sign against the, I don't know who it is on Michigan. I don't remember who it was. The gif of him doing that. Remember what I'm talking about? Michigan, I think, was ranked number 7 going to that game. The weather was terrible. I was back home in Michigan for that game. The weather was terrible. We lost power. We were using like a generator or something, like almost like a fucking wind-up TV. At some point, we ended up having to listen to it on the radio. I don't know who Michigan's quarterback would have been. Was that John O'Corn? Was there maybe? It wouldn't have been Rudock. No, Rudock was trouble with the snap. Yeah, it was like John O'Corn or something like that. It was like something bullshit. It was during the Harbaugh like QB whisperer years when he just like never really actually had a quarterback. People thought it was going to be Shea Patterson. I got to tell you, as a Michigan State fan, when Shea Patterson, loved him at Ole Miss, when he transferred to Michigan, it was one of the worst days of my life as a college football fan because of how much I loved him and respected him as like a dude at Ole Miss. And when he went to Michigan, all out the window completely. That sucked to my core. That shook me because I was so upset that I had to fucking hate him. Killed, I think, Michigan State both years, right? Did he beat Ohio State? I don't think he did. Michigan's, but well, no, they've won the last like 3, 4. They've like been the recent, very, very recent history, like since the turn of the decade. I think since basically COVID. I'm pretty sure Michigan's just been kicking the shit out of Ohio State. So that means Shea might have been on one of the. He had to have been on maybe the. And it literally doesn't matter. I don't want to focus on this because it does not matter. Well, I don't know where I was going with this. I don't know where was I going with this. Well, I was trying to recount. It was the year that went into Ann Arbor. one of the first touchdowns of the game was like a Brian Lewerke screen to Madre London. I don't remember what the other... John O'Corn threw like 5 interceptions in that game. That's where I was going with it. John O'Corn. That's it. So we finally got back to it. I talked myself back around to it. John O'Corn threw like 5 interceptions in that game. It was reminiscent of a defensive performance as a couple of years prior to that. Michigan ended the game with like negative 48 rushing yards. Devin Gardner is the quarterback, wearing number 98. A game where the weather was also terrible. And I remember that being a thing, actually. In that game, the first one I was referencing just a couple of years ago when Brian Lewerke was the quarterback, when we upset Michigan in Ann Arbor, I remember it was like as soon as it started to rain, us at home, we were like, oh, fuck, it's on. Because the recent history was if the weather sucks, Michigan State plays well. That's just like what it's been in the rivalry against Michigan. And I remember when that started happening, you know what? And I just kind of caught myself. I think I don't know the oral history of this. I don't know. Well, I should have just kept going with it. I shouldn't have stopped myself. I should just believe in the things that I'm saying and talking about sometimes. I'm saying all this just to say the fire is reignited because Bryce Underwood officially, that's his name, right? Officially named the starter for the University of Michigan. This kid's been on the roster for 6 months. He's been at the school for real like 6 months, if that. And he is now the starting quarterback for the Michigan Wolverines. Essentially right before he would have gone to Michigan, actually enrolled at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. Like a month before, he was supposed to be at LSU, and then he flipped at the last minute because a coalition of donors, who on this program we will not name, but a coalition of donors got together, got like Tom Brady in the mix, and just flipped Bryce Underwood. And they stole him from LSU and gave him an undisclosed amount of money, but has been rumored to be around $10 million. Now, the reason that I have interest in this is not because he is the quarterback of the school that I hate more than anybody else in the country. It's because he is a quarterback of a school that played my high school within the last 365 days in the final game of the season, when both of them were undefeated. They played in Howell. Belleville is where he went, right? Played in Howell. Bro, that shit was on TV. I watched that game live. My high school beat him. My high school beat his school. And we went undefeated, and they didn't. And so I look at that, and I say, if people who are cut from the same cloth as me are beating this kid, you know what I'm saying? Who just got cut a check for $10 million from fucking Tom Brady and like Dave Portnoy. If kids who look and are built like me can beat that kid, I don't know. No way. No way. I'm rooting for him to fail. There's no way. And by the way, I can't lose here. Okay, so he stinks. Let's say he stinks. Because I don't know who was you remember Tate Forcier? Jump scare, Michigan fans. You remember him? I remember the hype. Like we've been here and we've done this. I don't know. Michigan always gets these guys more often than not. It's weird because, like, I don't know. How true even is that? Denard Robinson, Hooper. Like, what? Hooper. So sick. Hated him because there was nothing you could do. It just was going to happen to you. You know what I mean? Hated him because of how good he was. Like, fuck. Rocked. Tate Forcier. No. Chad Henne? Yeah. Had our number for sure. Jake Rudock? No. Nope. Doesn't count as anything. John O'Corn? No. Also not good. There are going to be so many guys. Shea Patterson, we talked about him. Yeah, he was good. Didn't win anything meaningful. So, just, I don't know. Just as something to... Did they win a Big Ten championship? They might have. Actually, they might have. So if they did, then okay, I'll give you that. But didn't win a natty, and that was what mattered to me at the time. So bummed that it ended up being JJ McCarthy. I fucking hate that guy so much. Oh, I hate him so much. I hate JJ McCarthy so much. Oh, I hate him so much. Maybe we'll do this, though, right? If we talk about the NFC North and we stay on football, Vikings fans, I may hate JJ McCarthy, but Vikings fans, what you will have in common with me on this day, as will Chicago Bears fans, is a very simple sentiment. The sentiment can be expressed as following. Fuck. Shit. Fuck. God damn it. Fuck. Micah Parsons traded to the Green Bay Packers. As the moment I'm taping this happened like 3 hours ago, bro. This just happened. So right before I started taping, I was trying to catch up on just the info dump of everything that's coming out. I'm gonna miss a lot of stuff. By the time this actually comes out, I'm sure we'll learn so much more, right? But I just want to speak first and foremost as an NFC North fan. Fuck. This sucks. This isn't cool. This isn't cool at all. I think honestly, and Wisconsin sports fans, I'm going to say something and it's going to sound like I'm lashing out. I'm not. Actually, I am. Honestly, I am. I don't mean what I'm about to say, but I just need to get this out, okay? I hope that Giannis requests a trade. Fuck you guys. Seriously, because you can't have all of it. You can't have all of it. You got to pick two. You guys don't really do hockey, right? No. Yeah. No, there's no hockey. No, there's not. Okay, well, the Brewers are sick. I mean, Milwaukee right now is the team to beat in baseball. I really do. They have the voodoo doll right now, I think, in baseball. They just do. Right? Mizrowski is a wagon. Like, you have the Brewers. I don't know if you have the Bucks necessarily, but it's the sentiment that Giannis is like, it sounds like, unless he's bored, which is seemingly the only time that Giannis rumors ever come up is when Shams just has nothing else to tweet about. I don't know. Giannis is staying as it stands. So, like, that's all that matters, I guess. That's all that matters. And now, Packers have a really, really good draft. Josh Jacobs was amazing last year, like one of the best free agency signings, and was one of the 5 best running backs probably in America, in the world. Matthew Golden looks pretty good. I don't know. It just seems it just feels bad when a bad trade happens and but like it affects you. Does that make sense? So like if Micah went for, what was it, 2 first-round picks, and who was the tackle that they gave up? Kenny Clark. Okay, that's like a Pro Bowler. That's like an All-Pro guy, Kenny Clark. That's not nobody. You give him up and 2 first-round picks for Micah Parsons. If any other, it's not a lot. It's not a lot. And maybe I should cover this part of it first. You're seeing a lot of people. I don't know if we're existing on the same internet right now. I haven't consumed that much media. Again, this trade, like, is medium just happened. And I've been making dinner and, we're taking care of our kid. I haven't had that much time to consume the takes. What are people saying about this? I don't really know. But what I have seen a lot of, despite all of that, is that people are doing the Luka trade thing just because it's Dallas. Seemingly just because it's Dallas. I don't know. It's really funny, the timing of it, honestly. 2 weeks ago, and again recently in, I don't know, the last couple episodes, we've brought up the whole, what would the Luka trade of the NFL look like? And at first we agreed. It's so funny. Like, we were just talking about this, and now people are actually trying to do it. And what we agreed initially on was, like, we didn't know who, but it would be one of the 4 horsemen of the quarterback apocalypse: Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, just getting traded overnight for no reason, and we didn't expect it. Like, that's the only thing that it could be. Those are the only guys where it would be, like, completely shocking. Because, like, even Jalen Hurts or Justin Herbert, like, guys who we know are good or have, won Super Bowls or whatever, even if it happened in the middle of the night, like, it would be crazy, but I don't know. I don't think it would be that hard for us to, you know what I mean? I don't think it would be that hard. And then eventually, the most recent conclusion was that it would just be Joe Burrow because he's a guy who has consistently been in MVP conversations, but has never won any. He went to a championship game or a championship series and lost the same way that Luka did. So we agree that it would be Joe Burrow. And now people are saying the worst trade in the history of the NFL. This is the Luka trade. For so many reasons, that is so dumb. I guess I don't want to spend too long on this. If you're hearing this and you haven't heard that once, you're going to be like, this guy's arguing against fucking ghosts. This is what I mean. The internet is just such a weird place that there's a chance that that's your world. That's the internet that you've built, is you haven't seen this take. Again, I haven't consumed that much. Like, I've scrolled a few Reddit threads, but I've seen the take. That's kind of been the take. It's just how crazy this is. And I'm like, it's crazy. But Deshaun Watson got traded for 3 first-round picks just a couple years ago, and then immediately became the highest-paid player in the history of the NFL. And he had Bill Cosby numbers off the field on his rap sheet. Like, for real. And since then, got suspended for like a double-digit games. Sexually assaulted like 50 women. Double-digit games. That's like 10 games, Deshaun Watson. That's like 10 games. Maybe 11 games. I don't remember what it was. And then most recently has ruptured his Achilles and is not going to be playing this year. And the quarterback room in Cleveland could not be funnier. As a result of that, could not be funnier. If Deshaun Watson did not rupture his Achilles, who knows where Shedeur Sanders is right now? Because they drafted Dylan Gabriel first, so they still might have drafted Dylan Gabriel, but I don't know. Maybe then they would have been like, well, we still have Deshaun Watson, and we're just gonna eat this money, and it just kind of is what it is. So I don't know. It would be one thing if the worst trade. Also, by the way, Micah Parsons very publicly asked for this trade. I mean, very publicly. As public as it could possibly be. He went on the internet and was like, Jerry Jones is a fucking liar, and I never want to play for him again. And I thought he literally did the James Harden thing with Daryl Morey. He literally did the same thing. .jpeg. It was the same fucking picture. The Luka thing happened in the middle of the night and nobody knew. I don't know why. What are we talking about? This is crazy. This is insane. I cannot believe this has been I hope by the time that this episode comes out that people aren't talking about that anymore. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. When you see, and this is the detail that I've just omitted. Look, doesn't seem like enough for Micah Parsons, honestly, but like part of the cost of the trade was finding somebody who would sign him to a 4-year contract where $120 million of it is guaranteed, and where the average annual value is $47 million for an edge rusher. The highest paid non-quarterback in the history of the NFL on an average annual value basis. What the hell? That's insane. But for a guy like Micah Parsons, it makes sense. He's only been in the league 4 years. He's 26 years old. He's been all-pro however many of those years. What's crazy is he hasn't won a Defensive Player of the Year. That's crazy. I mean, I guess it's not like last year that was the hype, right? And then didn't he get hurt like immediately? And then I don't remember. I think that's what it was. Like the first couple games, and then wasn't it like right before the Detroit game that Micah got hurt? And then it was in the Dallas game that Hutch got hurt. I think it was something like that. But it's just crazy to me that a guy like Micah Parsons hasn't won Defensive Player of the Year. I was like, oh, okay, so he's like Anthony Davis. Is that what it is? He's like Anthony Davis? Let's look at his... was like, well, I feel like Micah Parsons is playing a lot of games. I don't think he's like Anthony Davis. Yeah, he's not, because he just plays games. He just plays games. Plays all of them. Dating back from his rookie season to now, games played 16, 17, 17, 13, this most recent season. That first year, that was 16. When did they start playing 17-game seasons? I don't remember but if it wasn't 2021, if he was playing 16 games, was that still the season? I don't remember. Off the top of my head, I don't remember when they made that change. Regardless, even last year playing 13 games. Yeah, that's like most of the season, which is crazy. It wasn't that something that Jerry Jones was bitching about last year, that Micah Parsons was missing a ton of games. And it was like he's missed 4 games this last season, and then was an Iron Man the previous 2, and then at most missed 1 in his rookie season. Unless they only play 16, then he played every single one. So what the hell, Jerry Jones? I don't even, which maybe I could stretch this segment even longer and do a whole thing about Jerry Jones. I don't even care anymore about Jerry Jones. I don't even care about him anymore. It's crazy. I love like oligarchs in sports. Not like in the actual sense, but like what's the woman in New Orleans? Gail Benson. She's a monarch. Sheila Ford Hamp in Detroit, the monarch of the Detroit Lions, right? So I love when there's like a guy at a place. I love when there's a guy at a place. You know what I mean? So what that means is normally a guy like Jerry Jones, even though he's sort of like a gargoyle. The idea of him, I just love. I even if he's like a dictator, I love it's sports, and I just love how not intense, but I love when an owner just is the identity of the team, for better or for worse. Like, I think this is such a bad take, but like, I think what's fun about the Knicks is that everybody knows that they have the biggest shithead owner in the world. And despite that, they actually have a really likable cast of guys. And like Leon Rose has just done such a good job, just like building a roster of guys that aren't knuckleheads and are just like fun to actually watch. And you're sort of at odds with the idea that, yeah, but it's Dolan. I don't know. Like, it was fun. This is where it's even worse of a take. Fun's not the right word. How do I say this? In the same way right now that in European soccer, in English soccer, Sheffield Wednesday is really funny, is because their ownership is terrible. They're not paying players. Fans are on strike. I just bumped the camera, so that was sorry if you're watching today's. I shouldn't have even acknowledged that. If I was a professional, I wouldn't have acknowledged that. They've closed off parts of their stadium because it's not safe, and so fans can't. They got a whole bunch of shit going on. They're trying to sell the team right now. They can't play. They can't pay their damn players. In the same way that it's funny to make fun of them, but rally around the fans and be like, hey, man, like, it sucks what you're going through. I felt like it was the same when Robert Sarver was the owner for the Suns, where it was so funny to shit on them for anything that you could possibly do, because it was like, Robert Sarver, he's racist and he hates women. And I don't know, it was fun. But again, at the same time, sort of harboring Suns fan refugees who were like, I can't do it with this guy. Yeah, I'm a Suns fan. We got this knucklehead owner. Pistons fans dealt with that for a little bit with Tom Gores. How many years removed are we at this point? Was it an article that came out, I think? It was an article that came out about Tom Gores, the owner of the Detroit Pistons, where a telecommunications business that he owns, Securus, I think is what it's called. Is that how you say it? Securus. They were in charge of, like, collecting the fees on, like, prisoner phone calls, like collect calls that people make in and out of jails. And they were overcharging, like, minorities or something like that. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't specifically minorities, but it was the prisons that had, like, mostly, like, black and, like, Mexicans in them, I think is what it was. I don't remember. That was a huge thing. Pistons fans cared about that for, like, 2 years, and then, I don't know, they started playing well, and people were like, that Tom Gores, I've been guilty of it. I don't know. You listen, an owner, because we haven't heard him say it on tape. You know what I mean? We haven't heard him say this isn't the Clippers. We haven't heard him say it. I don't think we heard Robert Sarver say it. I think maybe it was in writing That sounds right, actually. Maybe that it was in writing a couple times for Robert Sarver that he said it. PewDiePie on the bridge style, that he said it. Hasn't happened with Tom Gores. All we know is that he price gouged prison phone calls for like black people, and that's it. And that he was born. Well, that doesn't matter where he was born, but it's interesting if you look at it. I'm just curious what else, maybe where else money that he makes goes. I would just be curious to know. I don't know if we're able to follow that breadcrumb trail. Pistons fans dealt with that a little bit. Where was I going with all this? I don't know. I just think it stinks that I don't care about Jerry Jones, because as a sports figure, as a pillar of the industry, I think it stinks that I kind of just don't care about him. It's not even that I hate him. It's not that, anytime he talks, it's usually something dumb. I saw he had some quote, he's speaking out after the trade happened. He had some quote about like, well, we tried to come to a deal with Micah Parsons, and it didn't work, and we wanted him to play out this fifth year, and we come back around to it, and they went through a whole thing about this with Dak too, and at least they ended up paying Dak. At least they ended up paying him, I guess. What does that even mean? Because I guess, you know what? And when I made the comment earlier about Jerry talking about like, oh, my players aren't playing. Oh, well, if my players aren't going to play, I don't know why I'm paying them. Whatever bullshit he said last year. It wasn't just about Micah. It was about Dak too. I think he was part of it. And was CD also hurt? I don't remember that part of it. But I remember Dak did go down too. I don't know, man. We just learned on this episode, on this show a couple episodes ago, that Dak is 32. What the huh? Whoa, Dak Prescott's already 32 years old. Woo, scary hours. Scary hours in Dallas. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, is it mismanagement in the same way that it, like, yeah, having Nico Harrison and Jerry Jones be the shot callers of two teams that you root for? Yeah, that stinks, I guess. But they're not the same. Are they comparable in that they're both originating in Dallas? Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's a crazy trade. But again, I also I just am like, oh, okay, the whole time that this has been going down, one of two things are going to happen. Either an hour before the first game kicks off between, who's even Philadelphia playing? A week from the night that I'm taping this, a week from right now, Philly's going to be playing. Is it Dallas actually? Is it Dallas? Is that who they're playing? Raising the banner on opening night, an hour before the news is going to break that Micah signed an extension. Either it's going to be that, or he's going to get traded to the Ravens. It was always going to be the Ravens. In my head, at least, I was like, it just seems like something that they're going to swoop in on, and that notification is going to come through, and you're going to be like, yeah, why not? Why not Baltimore? I don't know. It just seemed like something that was going to happen. I could see Buffalo maybe. I don't know. But Baltimore, for sure, I thought was going to happen. No. And if it was the same package, 2 first-round picks and like an all-pro player, period. But on defense, I guess specifically, we'll say on defense for the sake of it. And he went to anywhere else, I would have been like, oh, that's kind of not a lot. That's crazy, though. But like, whatever. I'm pissed because he went to the Packers. You know what I mean? That stinks. That's not fun. I don't love that. I don't want to play that twice a year. When I was growing up and it was like BJ Raji and I don't know, like Clay Matthews and AJ Hawk. Yeah, dog, like it wasn't fun as a fan to turn games on Sunday when I knew we were in Lambeau or like they were in Detroit. You know what I mean? Like, was Xavier Rhodes? No, he wasn't. Rhodes closed. That was Minnesota? Rhodes closed. No, he was in Green Bay. Did he play for both? I don't remember. Rhodes closed. I remember that more in Minnesota. Surely he played for both teams. Xavier Rhodes. Rhodes closed. I got to start talking about something else, folks. copinghoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically. Email available in the description wherever it is that you listen to this program. So we got this email right before I started taping, and I have not read it yet. And it's from Lev. Our 11-year-old field reporter, Lev, is back. The last time we heard from him, he was going to camp, like a summer camp. He called it sleepaway camp, I think. I've never heard it said that way before, but it was like a summer camp. He did actually send an update on that. He came home like a week ago, I think. He sent a whole email about that. But we have a new one from him, and I don't know what this is going to be. Lev, welcome back to the show, brother. Hope you've had a good summer. I think we just heard from your brother the other day, right? From Akiva. So, Lev, welcome back to the show. Subject line, Oreo most stuff has too much cream. Hello, Nick. Does Oreo most stuff have too much cream? Me personally, my favorite type of Oreo is Oreo Thins because they have the least amount of cream, and I like the cookie part better than the cream. And when it has too much cream, it takes away the flavor of the cookie part. Oreo Thins have a lighter and crispier crunch than any other type, and they also make fewer crumbs. And Oreo most stuffed has the most amount of cream of any Oreo and is 1 inch thick. That's 4 times the amount of cream filling as the standard Oreo. Customers on Amazon and Walmart rated the original Oreos 4.8 out of 5. While they rated Oreo most stuffed 4.3 out of 5. Oreo produces 3.5 billion pounds of original. Lev, are you using computers to write this? Or are you just giving me stats right now? We talked about this. No AI. I don't think this is AI. I don't think this is. But you're just giving me stats, and I'm suspicious. They make 3.5 billion pounds of original Oreos each year while they produce 500, this is too specific of a number, 588 million pounds of most stuffed Oreos per year. That means they make way more original Oreo. Yeah, okay, Lev, I get it. Wow, that's crazy. I'll give you credit on one thing first, because this is Lev. I only have time to give you credit for one thing here. Liking the Oreo Thins better because of the crumbs. Yeah, I like that. That's good for you. Good for you for being conscious of that as a kid. As a young man. Good for you for already. That's good manners. That's just good common sense from you. I like that. Me personally, I don't care, and that's a problem. I don't care about crumbs. I'll just brush them off. It's fine. They'll go somewhere. They'll end up somewhere, and then my dog might eat them, and if he doesn't, whatever. It's fine. They'll go somewhere. Eventually, they will end up somewhere. So good for you on that. I got to tell you, though, maybe I'm crazy. And honestly, Lev, maybe we'll learn something here. I don't know. One of us is crazy here, though. I'm the complete opposite way. I do not care about the actual cookie part. I just want the cream. That's like why the extra most stuffed bestest, whatever they're called, exists. It's for people like me. I want the cream in the Oreo. I could very much take or leave the cookie part. It's just sort of there for what it is. You know what I mean? Because I can't just eat. You know what? And this is maybe what it is. Psychologically, I cannot eat an entire tub of Oreo cream. If you put that in front of me and it was substantively the exact same thing as Oreo cream, just not sandwiched in between two cookies, I can't just eat a tub of that without looking insane. The purpose that the actual cookie parts serve on an Oreo to me is it's a vehicle to eat the cream. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, I was one of those people. You take them apart and then you just eat the cream off of the cookie. And then you're just left with some dry cookie. And then you're like, ugh. You know? I remember as a kid, once or twice, I would the cream would come off the cookies and I'd put it in some milk. And I would stir that up. It just didn't really do that much to it. It doesn't really, even if I don't know, it did not do nearly as much as I thought it was going to. No, I think this is wild. The proper, well, I don't want to say the proper way to eat Oreos, but I would say liking the cookie part more is, I don't know if it's wild. I don't know if it is. I think it is, but it's not. I wouldn't like. What's the appropriate reaction? How would I earnestly react to that? Because I've just never heard this before. I thought we were all on the same page about the cream. I thought it was just sort of I don't know. I guess, Lev, we're going to have to let people, we will have to let, how do we say this? People are going to let us know which one of us is crazy. Because I do think it has to be one of us. You can't really play both sides of this one. I don't think. Let's do another email, though. Thank you, Lev, for that. Let's do this one. Let's do this one from Olin. We like to do media stories on here. Talk about things that happen in the media. As far as the NBA landscape goes, some pretty medium news. Pretty medium to big news happened within the last couple of days. Subject line here, Russillo leaving the Ringer. Hey, Nick. Ryen Russillo doesn't seem to be renewing his contract at the Ringer. As a routine listener of him and Bill on Sunday Night NBA pods, I can say that sucks. Was wondering if you had any thoughts. Reports are saying that he's starting his own media venture with Barstool, potentially investing in it. Still, it will never be a Monday winter morning without those guys in my ear. Bonus question. Any first 2 week of Premier League takeaways? I do. We'll do soccer later, though. I'll come back to that. We'll do soccer later. I do have takeaways. The news came out just the other night. Ryen Russillo not re-upping his contract with the Ringer, becoming a free agent, and then also just sort of doing a sign and trade, essentially, with himself. Because he's going to be Ryen Russillo will be starting his own media company. And that will be financed and distributed by Dave Portnoy himself, by Barstool Sports. So they will be acting as the umbrella company and the distributor for whatever it is that Ryen Russillo is doing. Be really interesting to see who he takes with him. Wonder what's going on with Todd McShay. Wonder if maybe he would double bounce. I don't know. Left ESPN. Had the non-compete for like 6 months. That's what happened to Zach Lowe, too. They had non-competes for however long. And they just like literally couldn't do anything. And then, Todd McShay ended up at the Ringer. Zach Lowe also ended up at the Ringer. No way Zach Lowe leaves. There's no chance. This is interesting to me because years ago, I was close with people who worked at the Ringer formally. And I know one of those guys that was on the bargaining team when the Ringer unionized. And so, like, he was one of the people, like, writing, like, and we want good wages. You know what I mean? Like, shit like that. He was on the bargaining team. And so he had a good pulse on inner workings of the Ringer. There had been a rumor for years, as early as, like, 2021, that once Bill's contract was up with the Ringer, he was going to leave and do a different media company and just start a new thing. That he had cashed in with Spotify, and then since then, what's the recent history? He's re-upped and he's gotten more money, and so that didn't end up happening. It was Ryan all along that was like, all right. And the marriage, honestly, with Barstool, it makes complete sense. Because they just signed a syndication deal with Fox Sports. And they're going to have, was it weekly, daily programming on Fox, on television. And so if you're Russillo, it's like, dude, now you get to go back to, like, TV. You know what I mean? Because, like, it'll be Portnoy who does the, like the Big Noon Kickoff on Fox, which is a whole nother thing. But then, whatever show that they end up having, whatever programming it is, they have it every single day. They have a time slot. Now Ryan gets to do. So I don't know. It makes sense. But also, does this like ignite or reignite a sort of Cold War between Bill Simmons and Dave Portnoy? Because there's always been a little bit of something there. Or rather, it's been that there's been like nothing there, which is like sort of something. Because I know Dave has talked about how he used to like fuck with Bill like back in the old days because he's a shot taker and he liked to punch up. And Bill just like would like little bro him and like wouldn't give him the time of day. I don't know. And so I just think it's interesting. Barstool not taking but financing Bill's like number one boy. I don't know. It's interesting. It's really interesting. And it is too bad. I don't think, though, that they're going to, like, stop potting Ryen Russillo and Bill Simmons. There's no way that they just, like, stop potting. Maybe it won't be as frequent as doing the Sunday night pause that you're talking about here, which even then stinks. Like, even if it's only once a month or, like, no matter what it is, it's probably not going to be once a week during the NBA season. And that already, like, boom, all right, well, then that stinks. You know, that's what we want. But the Ringers, you know, they've had some voices that have been like Zach Lowe's been so good for them, and Rob Mahoney has been so good for them too. And so I don't know, whatever Ryan ends up doing will be interesting. It just makes sense. It's just a complete win-win. I think for Ryan and I think for Barstool too. I think it just makes it makes complete sense. And you talk about media, folks. You talk about covering all the biggest stories. You talk about covering them from all angles. Listen, we did a little bit of media. At the beginning of the show, we did a little bit of football. What do you say we combine the two? What do you say we throw them in a little crock pot? We turn this bitch up, and we just let it marinate, and we see what comes out. I'll tell you. I'll get to the end. Spoiler alert. I'll tell you what comes at the end of that. Because first it's love, then comes marriage, then comes Taylor and Travis. Wedding streaming live on Disney Plus in 2026. Are you fucking kidding me with this? Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? America gets its royal wedding. It happened. Was this on the bingo sheet? I should look at the bingo sheet. This might have been on there. I'm going to need to look that up. This might be on there. It finally happened. Within recent weeks, Travis Kelce proposed to Taylor Swift, made the announcement the other day via the NFL's Twitter account, via Adam Schefter. Taylor Swift herself posting on Instagram, "Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married." Whoa. Crazy, wild, sick, nasty, twisted business. Couldn't be happier. Oh my God, I cannot wait. Cannot wait for this. I'm telling you, I don't know if these conversations have been had ahead of time. Who's buying this thing? Who's buying it? The bidding war for the streaming rights to this thing, I am desperate to be publicized. I'm desperate. Because there's no way it's not. And it might just be Disney by default. They have the rights to the Eras Tour movie. I don't know if there's some exclusivity deal that she has with that. I have no idea. Look, I'm just some guy. I just work here. And I just, some of you may be listening to this and I don't know, maybe you've already skipped ahead and so it doesn't matter. But if you're still here and you're like, oh, fuck me, how much longer is he going to talk about this? I don't know. But I got to tell you, just lock in for a second, bro. Because imagine two Americans during a time of crisis, politically and socially and financially in America, that the biggest pop star in the world, who is American, and, I don't know, one of the best tight ends that's ever played the game. Ever. One of the best yak pass catchers, at the tight end position that we've literally ever seen. One of the best route runners at the position we've ever seen. Yeah. Of the most popular sport in the country. Yeah. Go on a 2-year-long like crusade together and just are cute as fuck and are like super goals as hell. People the whole time find a reason to hate. But in the end, by the way, this is not just the biggest pop star that's ever lived. We've spent the last damn near 20 years, 15, 20 years, hearing about her wanting a damn man. You know what I mean? Her wanting someone to give her exactly what we just saw unfold on the internet. That woman is finally getting married. For years, jokes have been made about her that she would purposely sabotage relationships just so that she could, I don't know, make songs. There's a whole Family Guy episode about that. And guess what? She's getting married. That's awesome. That sounds awesome. And it also just so happens that it will be, oh my God. Well, when are they going to do it? Because the World Cup is next summer. Oh, you think they're going to drag this out for so long? They're going to drag this out for so fucking long, bro. Because she's got this album coming out. Well, she's going to have to tour it. Oh, and they're not going to get married until like 2028 or something. And by then, you know what I mean? By then, who knows? Who knows with them? There's no reason to... What am I saying there? What am I suggesting that they're going to get? Shut up, Nick. Stop talking about this. I'm excited. I'll stop talking about it in a second. I'm just excited. Because I just haven't... I don't know. Since like the literal royal wedding, which was what? 2000... When the hell was that? 10, 11, 12? I don't... It's been a while. Since then, I can't think of... What's the most, like, polarizing... Well, what's ironic is the only other polarizing, like, television event that I can think of is the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard thing. And I gotta be honest with you, I completely stayed out of that one. I, to this day, got no fucking idea what happened. No idea. One of you guys sent in an email. You were living like across the street from that courthouse. And so like every day for however many weeks the trial went on for, you would just like see everything happening outside. The email was awesome. I wish I would have read it. It was a great email. It was really cool. Saw like Johnny Depp like every day just like signing shirts. Said something about a guy who tried to give Johnny Depp an emotional support emu. Alpaca? Something like that. Huh? Yeah, that's what he said in the email. I don't know. Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. Yeah, I don't know. She pooped in a bed and people think he got framed. I don't know. I thought it was... I don't care. I really don't care about that. Honestly, I don't. I'm going to move on to something else. I don't care about that at all. I don't know. We're just not polarized by these live events anymore. Balloon Boy, 2009 maybe? 2009 maybe? Balloon Boy doesn't even clock for, what, 60% of the country? I think even people who were alive for that. If you were 40 years old when Balloon Boy happened, I'm not saying this because people, be getting old and, like, be forgetting shit. I'm not saying it because of that. I'm just saying, like, I don't know, so much has happened. Even if you were like a very conscious person when Balloon Boy happened, I just think so much has happened that people are like, fucking whatever. Because we're just not captivated anymore. By the same thing, that is a phenomenon I just don't think could happen. Oh, a kid is trapped in a balloon and is flying over the Grand Canyon? Whatever, who cares? I don't know. No, I don't think Balloon Boy would work. No, it could work. Balloon Boy would still play. But I think people would... I don't even care about this, Nick. I don't care. I'm just not passionate about this joke. And so we're going to do a different email, copinghoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically. Email available in the description wherever it is that you listen to this program. Let's do this one from Harry. Harry, what's up? Welcome back to the show. Subject line, tennis. Not really a thing in the United States? Firstly, as a quick addendum to the world's straightest man, for context to break the email for a second, this guy is responding to an episode or two ago. We had a guy email into the show and said that he only roots for hot players in the NBA. He said hot dudes in general in any sport. He only roots for guys that he thinks are good looking. And throughout the email would mention that he was straight, and despite the fact that everything that he was saying was breadcrumbing us to the fact that there were tail feathers coming out of the email. You know what I mean? And so what I thought was funny was to prove he kept making examples of what he was talking about, where, guys that he was, players that he was attracted to. And just in general, and I'm like, you could have said the W. You said the WNBA. If you wanted to, you know what I mean? You could have said the W. World's straightest man. Yes, that is what both myself during the show and you at home in the comment sections, respectively, on Spotify and YouTube, also pointed out. World's straightest man. That guy had nothing to. He didn't have anything to think about. I just think he sent in an email where he expressed that he was straight, and that was the end of it. So Harry, let's read your response to him. You said, I think he verbalized something that I've subconsciously bubbled in my head for a while. Victor Wembanyama is my favorite basketball player due to his play style, his personality, and his mentality. But all of this is exacerbated by the fact that he is extraordinarily handsome. I think the same applies to Cade, though that might also be because he's vegan, and that's super cool. Main point. Okay, so you're going into something else. But yeah, listen, I think everything you said is right. I think everything that guy said was right. It was all completely right. The goof was that you cannot do that under the guise of heteronormality. Because you got a little something in you if you're able to send in that email. Okay, you say here, the main point of the email. You say that August into September is the dead point of the sports calendar, but you seem to have forgotten. The U.S. Open is happening right now, this week, in New York. The world's most popular individual sport is hosting its premier United States event, and you can watch guys like Sinner, Alcaraz, and American legend in the making, Taylor Fritz, right now, not to mention Coco. Doesn't seem to be a huge thing, though, culturally. The Australian Open is a proper event here, where you'll find many families staying up past midnight rooting for their faves. I think if we went back, we could count the number of times tennis has been mentioned on the Coping Hour on one hand. Am I off base, or has it not really grabbed the zeitgeist that it should, given the U.S. hosts one out of the four major slams? Curious to hear your thoughts. Obligatory sports take. Brazilians make the best fans, and for this reason, I hope João Fonseca becomes a superstar. Hope all is well with you and yours, Harry from Australia. Thank you for this email. We don't give a shit about tennis at all. We don't. Now, there are people in this country that do, and the people that do care really care. I think people are really passionate about it. I'm not going to say it doesn't have like a following here. It 100% does. People listening to the show are going to really, really like tennis. But no. We knew who Serena was. We knew who Venus was. We knew who Federer was. We knew Nadal. We knew Sharapova. We knew Djokovic. I think if you ask the average American, what does it mean to win a Grand Slam? Like, what do you have to do? They don't. I don't think the average American would know. It's just not the sport. It's just not. It's and you know what? And it in some ways, it's the same reason why soccer will just never be able to invade. You use the word zeitgeist. Invade the zeitgeist. Here is we just care about. There's too much other shit going on. We just don't have the capacity for it. You know, we care about football. We care about basketball. We care about baseball, and then some of us care about hockey, right? Can't add more shit to that, you know. And with soccer, it's harder to convince us because I mean, yeah, there are games that end 0-0. The truth is, like, it's actually it could be a really fun game even if it's 0-0. But I get it. You know, some people just use 90 minutes of kicking the ball around and a bunch of build-up play that doesn't technically go anywhere, and the ball never goes in the back of the net. Yeah, I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get why people don't want to watch that. I do think the World Cup does a really good job in America of the amount of people who'd be like, man, maybe I really want to get into this sport. Like, I think because the World Cup just does such a great job of capturing the attention of the world for, what is it, a month? You know, I mean, the world, everybody stops what they're doing and they at least know a little bit about what's going on in the World Cup. Not even that, just that it's on, you know, it's so good. And then, of course, most people don't really follow through, you know, because it coincides with actual American football coming back. And again, that just takes precedent. And so people care about tennis in this country the same way that people absolutely care about soccer. But no, I don't even know, like, Yeah, Alcaraz. Yes, I know that he's a stud. I watched during the Olympics just like a year ago right now in France. Alcaraz and Djokovic played each other, I'm pretty sure. I think Djokovic won, I think. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that being a thing. Who is, what's her name? Naomi Osaka? She's wearing that outfit, that orange outfit. Naomi Osaka. Is that her name? Is this another, I hope this isn't another Sachin Gupta. Let's ask Siri. The most crucial piece of artificial intelligence in our culture. Siri, can I ask you a question? Come on. All right. Well, I'm going to have to cut this out. Hey, Siri. Hey, Siri, can I ask you a question? What's going on here? Oh, my God. Oh, dude. Hey, Siri, can I ask you a question? What's going on here? Okay. It's got to be Naomi Osaka. Who's she married to? Who's she married to? I'm looking at his face. Corday? I think it's Corday. Married to Corday. That sounds right. Jesus. This is the second episode in a row that Siri just completely derails me. What was I even supposed to do there? I couldn't. It's unknowable. I could not find the answer to that if I wanted to. Siri and her damn racket. If that's where, by the way, if that's where artificial intelligence is taking us, what does that say? America. What does that say? You talk about America right now? People are scared. People are scared. People think that, is Donald Trump going to die? Have you seen this? Have you seen this too? And have you heard about this? Listen, I don't know. It's not uncommon in the past that we spend like a week talking about Putin's health because of video. Maddie's running a vacuum right outside. I don't know if you can hear that. She just stopped, of course. It's not uncommon in the past that we'll spend like a week after a video surfaces of Vladimir Putin, like gripping the leg of a table, and you can tell that it's to stop himself from whatever tremor that he's dealing with at the time. There's always something going on with him that people will nitpick and they will focus on it. And, okay, so he's got fucking rickets. He's got something. Putin is in poor health, and he's got Parkinson's. We've heard Parkinson's a lot about Putin over the years. And he always emerges, and he's always fine, and it never actually amounts to anything. And so those stories always happen with Putin's health. They've happened over the years. With Kim Jong-un, it's happened at least 5 times. There was even one time within the last couple of years. This has been wiped from the internet. This was not a dream that I had. This was nothing other than this happened. This wasn't anything other than just a thing that happened that I just have never been able to find any information on. But I know for a fact that this happened. Kim Jong-un faked his death a few years ago, and there was a day or two everybody was like, "Holy shit! He's dead as fuck! His heart just exploded." And then he came back to life. He faked his death so that he could figure out who the leak was to the South Koreans. And then it ended up being his uncle. And so he took his uncle out into a random field in North Korea. And Kim Jong-un had set up grandstands, like a damn Quidditch field. And he put all of high-ranking members of government in these 50, 100 people in these grandstands. And put his uncle, Kim Jong-un's uncle, in the middle of a field and blew him up with a rocket. That happened. That's a real thing. Since COVID, that's a real thing that happened. And people, that's just not a thing. I swear to God, dude, I've never been able to find anything on it, but I know for a fact that was the thing that happened. People talk about his health all the time. People say wild shit about him all the time. Even last year, I don't know, even last year with Biden, people said he was old and they said that he had applesauce brains. I'm sure somebody, Marjorie Taylor Greene or a Charlie Kirk, Alex Jones, I'm sure somebody floated out something about him being on the verge of death. I'm sure that happened, but it was not a prevailing narrative in American society, in American politics. It was not. It was just that he was old as fuck. and maybe had dementia, but not that he was about to die. Dog, the things that people are saying about Trump right now. So the main thing that everybody's been pointing out is the bruising on his hand, which medical experts will tell you is from IVs. So whatever he's getting IVs for, some people are hypothesizing that he's experiencing congestive heart failure, because there were so many instances of his ankles being insanely swollen to the point where it's like he didn't even have ankles. Like it was like he was like a tube of ground. That's what I was about to say. It's gross. Like a tube of cookie dough. You know what I mean? Like that's like basically what his ankles look like. And so people started calling him out for that, and even reporters started to be like, "Hey, bro, what the fuck's going on with your ankles?" And now he's like only doing press from behind the Resolute desk in the Oval Office, so you can't see his legs anymore. You can't see his ankles. And they've been putting a bunch of bullshit makeup on his hands, but it doesn't actually match his skin tone, because his skin tone is like a 1 of 1. It's impossible to match the complexities of a man's skin tone like that. And then he calls in to Fox and Friends, and he's talking about, well, I don't know, I hope I get into heaven. They say I'm not doing so good right now, and hopefully I can get into heaven. What the fuck are you talking about? What is he talking about? What's he talking about? Because it's not uncommon that he'll just like call into, I don't know, whatever Fox show has the, I guess Fox and Friends is the one that has the sort of the there's an open line. He'll just be sitting in bed with a Diet Coke watching TV, and he'll just like call in and want to like chop it up on Fox News. He's done that a million times in the past. He does not do it as much anymore. He definitely doesn't do it as much anymore. But he did. And then in the middle of us all being like, is he going to fucking die? He's like, I hope I get into heaven. It just made me think. It made me, dude, I've been thinking so much. So I'm saying all this just to say, the reason I did the setup with Putin and Kim Jong-un, and now we're doing it with Donald Trump, it's just interesting to experience it like nobody was ever questioning Barack Obama's health. They weren't questioning George Bush's health. Like that was, at least, I don't know, was it not to the extent, there was no way that people would have been doing that. With Biden, yeah, people, I guess you could say that they did. But again, that was just that he was a million years old, not that he was literally for real about to die. People think that within the next 12 months, there's a chance that Donald Trump is just, his heart's just going to explode because he's been, and the amphetamines that he's been eating since the fucking Nixon administration are going to finally catch up to him. His heart's going to pop. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. Alrighty, folks. I spent way too much time on that. I'm not going to get to soccer today. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to get to soccer today. I said I was going to do it earlier, and I didn't get the chance to do it. That's my fault. I apologize. That's my bad. That was not cool of me to say I was going to do soccer. I did watch the United game in the Carabao against Grimsby Town. Whoops. Whoops. That was funny. That was a funny thing to have witnessed. Glad I got to witness history. That was pretty funny. Glory, glory, Man United. Glory, glory, Man United. If you're listening to this on Spotify, I love you. I love you, Spotify. Do you have any Spotify? I'm asking this for a reason. And it could be anything. I don't know if this is a good question for you guys, because this is mainly for me. Is there like a thing that you would add to the show? Even if you're gonna say voicemails, one of you can say it. One of you can say it, and then if that's what you want to say, just check the comments first and see if anybody else has said it. Because I get it, people want that one. I don't know what I'm asking. Like, is more video integration, more visual integration? Is there anything? Because people on Spotify, like the numbers of people who are actually watching it was really interesting to me, which also was a testament to like why for so long I didn't want to put it on Apple, because it was important to me to have the variety, to have the choice. If you wanted to watch it, you're able to watch it. You can't do that on Apple or literally anywhere else that isn't Spotify or YouTube. So, yeah, I guess I don't know what it is. But if there's ever been something that you're like, if this show, because I'm just trying to invest in the idea of me. And so just looking for feedback here. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, what's up? What's up? If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, nice little comment for the algorithm. Make sure to keep primary control in check. And I will catch you guys in the next one.